What are you drinking?
Oh, it's a root beer. Root beer zero.
It's
Puts hair on my chest.
it's
Did everybody's dad say that when you eat something, you eat that'll put hair in your chest?
my dad said it all the time.
Yeah. And I always thought, like, why would I want that? That sounds like a bad idea.
I think I remember when my dad would say that. I'd be like, I don't want.
Right. Okay. I won't eat that.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Is Jaymes drinking out of a stage door glass?
Of course he
I
is.
am.
You know, I've never been honored enough to drink out of a stage door glass.
Shut up.
So you must be someone exceptional.
Right.
Special.
Right. I have big tall glasses too. You could have the
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't give Rick one either. No, I didn't.
I'm not special.
No. Hey, welcome to Stage Door Theater Podcast, hosted by a couple of average guys. I'm Kyle. Tom is joining me today, and we are also with Rick and Jaymes with Stone Productions, and they're doing a show about thunderstorms or something. I don't even know what it is. A cyclone.
It's not. The Cyclone's a roller coaster.
Okay.
So it's called Ride the Cyclone, and it's it's really popular in the younger gen. The TikTok viral.
Is it the new Be More Chill?
It kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Like it really is. It has that same sort of fan base. It's a perfect show for us because it's a weird
you always
musical.
do the weird crap, and I love it.
Weird, yes.
Yeah.
No, he's doing Evil Dead. He's doing this. And every time I see what you're doing, I'm like, I have Jaymes on too much.
Yeah.
But if you keep doing cool shows, you keep getting on the show. That's the way it works.
Yeah. It's huge like younger fan, but everyone that people like know it. They love the show. It's a 90-minute no intermission musical.
Oh, nice.
And it's going to take you on
a roller coaster.
Very much.
Yeah, you want to say it, don't you? Mm-hmm. Tom, do you know the show?
I do not.
Did you do any research on it? Usually, you're supposed to be the one who's prepared. I'm the one who doesn't know.
Remember,
anything.
I asked you, what are we doing today?
We're riding the cyclone.
Riding the cyclone.
I'm not a roller coaster rider.
It's an Odysseus story about a one-eyed cyclone.
Rides.
Yeah. But
so it's kind of a crazy, different kind of show then.
Yeah. So it is actually. So I got a couple fun facts. So it's the show is written like Jacob Richmond and Brooke Maxwell. They're the artists of it. They're well known if you know their work, but they're not. It's not like Andrew Lloyd Webber or Sondheim or anything like that.
Yeah.
But Ride the Cyclone is actually the second part of a trilogy. Called the Uranium Teen Scream trilogy.
I'm sorry, the Iranian Team Screen? What?
Uranium.
Oh, Uranium?
Yeah, Uranium is the fictional city in Saskatchewan in Canada where this takes place.
Oh, it's Canadian too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's the second part of a trilogy. The last part has not been written yet, so that's kind of cool. I don't know anything about the first part. I mean, I know it exists.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Why would you do the Empire Strikes Back before you did A New Hope? I don't understand what's happening here.
And so because I'm guessing it's one of those, like some trilogies, like where they connect, but like it's different stories.
It's obviously a standalone enough,
Yeah.
right? And you haven't seen the other one.
No, and in like the other anything else, like I know they've written other works too. They're just this one got very popular. This is the one that's more produced.
Okay.
Ride the Cyclone. It's everyone's like, oh, is it? It must be. It's 2008 is when it was premiered, and it was in Victoria, British Columbia, is like where like they're from, and that's where the show premiered at the Atomic Vaudeville. And
Atomic and Uranium.
Yeah,
Boy,
yeah.
they're really doing it here, aren't they?
Right. But yeah, then 2011 it transferred to Toronto. It got more notoriety there. Then it came to like the U.S. in Chicago in 20. Look at your notes,
not a history test. We're okay. You don't have to have the exact dates here.
But then where it really started getting its footwork, the off-Broadway production in 2015.
Okay, this is really new then.
Yeah.
Really, really new.
Yeah.
The fact that it's even available now is crazy. So
Yeah.
off-Broadway in 2015.
And then it went a few places. It ran off Broadway for a little while. It had there's people that were in the cast that at that time were not well known, and now now people, they say their name and they're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, I like that, people who are only known from this like off-Broadway funky musical, like now they're doing roles on Broadway.
People saw them and liked what they did enough, obviously, or were obviously good. Again, off-Broadway is off-Broadway, man. It's not like you're going to have terrible people in off-Broadway.
No. Like and then it ran, I want to say it ran like all the way through most of 2016. But I like fell upon it in 2020 during quarantine. We had nothing to do, right? So I was like just looking for new stuff to listen to, and I see the logo of the show is like this like animation fortune teller kind of person.
It reminded me of Big. The thing in the guy who's telling the fortune in there. Yeah.
Which our amazing friend Rick here.
Oh, Rick, you're playing the fortune teller guy?
Yes, I am.
Well, does he have an actual name?
His name is Karnak.
Oh, isn't it the amazing Karnak?
That's a real person.
Yeah, the amazing Karnak. Yeah,
he used to be on Johnny Carson.
That's Johnny Carson. Yeah,
not
this
quite
Karnak.
that Karnak.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like but so that's like when I figured out like all about it, and then it like just there was a video that's just surfaced randomly from the off-Broadway production of a character in the show called Jane Doe, and it on TikTok, it just in 2022 it just went crazy viral. Like it's just blew up, and then it was always one of the shows I'm like, this is funky musical called Ride the Cyclone. It's in my radar or whatever, and then I started seeing it go everywhere and become this big thing, and I was like, it's available. So we need to kind of jump on it.
This is another one of those things like you. I like having you around, James, to introduce me to new stuff. So it's like this kind of thing where I can go on to Spotify and try and find the soundtrack and listen to it and figure it out. Because it's like, if I don't have people like you and other directors who are introducing us to new shows, what am I going to do? Really? Wait for my Spotify playlist to run out and hope something pops in, I guess, is my only other option.
Where else can you find a show about Canadian uranium?
Right.
Canadian uranium.
Don't make me say that again.
Yeah, it's a... but yeah, like and then it just... It took off, and like it's like now like Ride the Cyclone. There's songs from this show that other like TikTok influencers will use.
Okay.
They'll just, it'll be like a makeup tutorial, and they'll be using a song from the show for that, and so it's like becoming this like big.
Like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
Is this taken out because it's a TikTok hit that all of a sudden people are researching and just, weird, like, what is this? Oh,
and
what song should I be looking for?
All of them. They're all fantastic.
Well, give me a couple.
Yeah, on TikTok.
So,
we're big TikTokers,
yeah, so they're What the World Needs Now is a really good one.
What the world needs now is
well,
love, sweet love.
Which was
actually,
not done by Karnak.
it's weird when you started off, I was like, well, that's close, and then I was like, no, not that song. And then there's actually
there's just so little of it.
Yeah,
song.
there's a fantastic
Don't sing.
song that's it's one of the characters has a Ukrainian accent, and he has a song called Talia, which is about this. We don't know if she's real or if it's just in his imagination, and but it's his like girlfriend from back home that he's
on his telephone.
Yes, that he's like. He's and this song's it comes at a really weird spot in the show, but like it is like you're hearing all these like poppy sort of like upbeat and then musical theater style songs, and then this like beautiful like Ukrainian folk song like pours in out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, something's happening here. And then if you want to really like go on in a journey, there's a song called Space Age Bachelor Man in the show.
Space Age Bachelor.
And I'll just listen to the lyrics.
So
and
the
that's all I'm gonna
Canadian one. So is this guy's girlfriend in Canada, or is the Ukrainian guy's girl in Ukraine?
So the premise of the whole show is
is this Avenue Q where he's going to lie about his girlfriend who lives in Canada?
Not
my
the
girlfriend
same.
who lives in Vancouver.
Yeah, not quite like that. It's this is where we're going to get a little. So the premise of the show, and to talk about the plot of this, it is at heart it's a dark comedy. Uh-huh. So it is.
Well, it sounds like it would have to be with everything you've described so far about uranium in Canada,
but it does,
and the amazing Karnak and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it takes a turn. So when the show starts, it starts with Karnak like welcoming the audience in.
Oh, you're the MC. Nice.
And
hello.
Yeah, and so what we find out is 5 choir students from Saskatchewan, the St. Cassian's Chamber Choir. They're going to a local amusement park, and they're doing like a choir like concert. It's not really necessarily at the same spot, but they have just recently done this. They're at this amusement park, and they each at different times go have their fortune read by Karnak, who tells them to ride the Cyclone. Oh. Now, this is where we get a little deep. The Cyclone derails, and they all die.
Oh.
Wow,
you really just gave that up, huh?
Well, and that's like that's all within like the first minute of
Does
the show.
it? Oh wow!
Yeah, within the first
so it doesn't take away from the show, but other than the
show.
fact that that will kind of like, I didn't expect people to die. This is like Scream the movie, where right in the heart right away. You're like, wait a minute, that's
like the opening.
The girl from ET just got killed. What the heck?
Yeah,
I was like,
the
didn't expect
opening
that.
Opening of the show. That's this is all that happens, and then Karnak.
I have the power to bring one of them back to life.
Oh, don't ruin the show! Holy smokes, this isn't ruining the show.
No.
No, not at all.
Wow. That's already like a lot of great stuff already. I'm like trying to tell you not to ruin the show, but you're like, it's fine.
Yeah,
this isn't ruining the show.
But it's up to them to decide who that is.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like there's lots of stories like this, right? Where like they're like a group of people are on a journey. They each have to tell their story, if you will, their reason for why they should come back. And some of them are a little bit more selfish than others. Some of them are more selfless with it. And then your character has this really cool moment where you get to, tells each one of their like backstory, like how they got to where they are.
And who are they telling this story to? The audience? But really to Karnak?
Yeah, I guess to the audience, more or less.
Who's judging is, I guess, what I need to know.
Yes. Yes, the amazing Karnak. But like, and there are a few things we won't give away. So there are some things that happen within the process of this,
right?
And then there is, like I said, that starts.
So you're the MC, the magician, and the judge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, you are the man in this show, huh?
And
judge, jury, executioner.
And he never gets to leave the stage.
No.
Like from
not even for a potty break?
No, like there's no intermission. So
no intermission.
Oh yeah, go ahead of time. It's like 90 minutes though, right? 90 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And it moves. I will say, like, it's one of those shows. I've seen it a few times live, and it's one of those shows where, like, when it ends, you're like, wait, I kind of want more. Like, you know, because, but you never get to leave the stage. So that's a chance. The other cast members for like a few seconds, but even then, they really don't. Like for longer.
Is it a big cast or a huge, small cast?
No, it's
very small.
Very small. Like
I
there's
count seven so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been counting this whole time?
Yeah,
You counted
I've
all
been
of them?
counting, yeah.
The
That's
six
it.
and
Well,
him?
and the six.
The six and Karnak.
So
okay.
There's five, when it starts, there's five people, and then Karnak gets to introduce.
There is a sixth body that was found.
Oh, geez.
And so
in a St. Cassian uniform. Should I tell the rest?
I mean, like, because like if people do listen to this and they come see it, they might, if they don't read up on the story, they might be like, why does this character look like that?
Yeah.
In a St. Cassian uniform without a head.
Okay, what is St.
Hate when that
Cassian
happens.
again?
It's
St.
the
Cassian
school.
is the school that they were.
Gotcha.
The choir.
Gotcha.
So-
So St. Cassian uniform, somebody without a head, so somebody who went to the same school as them.
And
As far
there's
as we know.
Someone's
Yeah.
going to be performing without a head?
no, so
Nice. I love it. I love it.
yeah. So what because like that can get what it can do. Doing something like that can take like the serious moments of the show and make them too campy. So what happens instead is Jane Doe is the character's name, and when she presents herself fully to the audience, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. She from the neck up looks different from everyone else. She is completely porcelain. She basically looks like a doll, and then she carries around the whole show a headless doll to represent that. So that's how they do it. So it doesn't. So you don't have this person like with like a tall neck and eye holes cut in, trying to like be serious.
Right.
But she also has a story and a journey, and I won't go too much into that because her character is the one that can give too much away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and is in fact one of the lines Karnak says about her is a mystery. And, but there's, like typical school relationships, there's like the super popular girl who like, do the rest of them really like her? Or do they put up with her, right? And then is she really as bad, or does she have a heart? Do you find that, and then there's like there's actually a very controversial character, and this show does have some controversy that follows it, because one of the characters in the show has like the arm crutches because they were born with a degenerative disease, and in a production, I don't remember the year it was recent. It was kind of recent, but in a recent production, there was someone who was actually, did the role in a wheelchair and, got like let go from the show for whatever reason. Like you can look it up. His name's Yannick. There's this whole big thing. Like it's a hashtag justice for Yannick. It's actually a really big deal, but, and then an able actor went on and played the role. So a bunch of controversy rose, and what they did is they took that out so that anyone could play the role. And when they did that, then it got more people.
There became more hate
because they were like, well, we didn't want you to do.
I just wish actors could just be actors. I don't understand why. That's just my opinion. It's like, nobody said anything about like Lieutenant Dan having real legs in real life and Forrest Gump. It's like, the people that are just good actors can play different parts. So I don't know why it has to be, that kind of thing.
And I think like that was the
same with the other way around too. If a person does have special, circumstances, why they can play other crap too.
Yeah, and I think it was the way that it was handled is what got the negative attention, and so then
maybe. But was the guy just a terrible attitude? Maybe they got let go for that, right? We'll never know, right? Because one person says he just had a bad attitude, and the other person said they got him because of this.
It was I read up on it, and it was because like there was medical reasons.
I think there was a medical reason involved,
and there were certain things that they felt like they couldn't take the show in the direction they wanted to.
Gotcha.
But when they did a rewrite of it, and they just made the character just have a different reason to make them not talk or anything in the beginning of the show, and then people were kind of like, well, we didn't want you to erase that character's it
almost didn't make sense.
It almost like they took
Removed
took
the
away the like disability, and like they wanted the awareness there and everything.
Gotcha. It's almost like when they make teen version shows and they cut out so much. You're like, why is that character a character? I don't even understand why he's here now. It's like, if you've seen the full version, it explains a lot more. But since they've cut all the songs this person sings, and now they're just like, what is this person? Yeah.
So we kind of, without like giving too much away, we kind of like.
I think you gave a lot of information away. So
I'm
our
still
production,
intrigued. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying for our production, we basically we're making sure we took care of it, and we're making sure that like we did the legal things we needed to do for what the book that we have says, but then we also are going to have the representation.
Gotcha.
Correct. So
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I thought your everything you've said so far is piqued my interest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on already there. Just having the amazing Karnak, you had my interest.
Yeah, as soon as they announced it, I immediately went in, tried to find the soundtrack, found the soundtrack, got into the story, and I'm like, oh, I've got to audition for
That's
this.
what I was going to ask you. I'm like, I've never even heard of this show before. Are you stalking James's, Stone Productions to see whatever they're doing? Because I see you got the Be More Chill shirt on. It's like you a regular with the Stone Productions.
Stone does. I love Stone because they do musicals that plays that not everybody does.
Right.
They don't do Music Man or Oklahoma or things like that.
There's nothing wrong with those, but
nothing wrong with them at all.
No, that's why we love this area, because everybody has their own thing. Everybody's doing their own thing. So that's why I'm glad you're around.
They're going to do Be More Chill. They're going to do
Living Dead,
Evil Dead, Rocky Horror. The things that are interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what makes musicals great too. Is there is such a huge variety of kinds where you can fall in love with one of them, hopefully. Like, these are the ones that are interesting to you, as you said.
Right.
Yeah. So you're like, what's Jaymes doing this week?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Xanadu. Who else would do Xanadu?
Right. Right.
I'm still intrigued on how this sixth person comes about. But
And that's kind of like the if we dive too much into that character, we could give
don't give it
a lot away. But
I'm intrigued enough to think this is something to go see.
And they kind of, with a lot of the stuff with that character, and there's a lot of the elements of the show. Like I remember, like the first time I watched it, like because you can watch the off-Broadway production on YouTube, and then I watched it and I was obsessed, but I still at the end I was kind of like, okay, so what happened? Like, where?
That's where the third one's going to come in.
Right.
Maybe fill in some information.
It does kind of end with it ends well. Like you will leave the show feeling satisfied, but there are so many questions, and the thing about those questions is they don't have definite answers, and that's kind of the beauty of the show. But it leaves like interpretations. There are like the cast keeps finding there are like Reddits and like these deep dives of people who've come up with these, this is what they think and all this. So it's really cool because they've got a lot to pull from for like inspiration and things.
So there's no version of the first. Is it a book or just a story or
it's the like I know there are there are clips out there of like the
so
early,
it was produced also.
Yeah, there of the workshops of some of the early workshops, and like I've heard them, and it's kind of like this show's nothing like Rent, but like if people who are Rent fans like look up the early workshops of that show, it is only a couple little dashes of the show today, and that's kind of how this one is. Like some of the like the versions of the songs. Like I will say this: if people thought this one was controversial, if they heard those early versions, they'd be like, "Oh,
cringy."
Yeah. So, but it is like it's one of those like it's just like a very fascinating show, and
but I'm talking about the trilogy.
Yeah, the trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
There's no version of the trilogy.
One's not even.
It's not even complete.
Yeah, I don't think
There's only been two parts of the
but
trilogy.
the first
1 and
part,
2.
the first part has been completed, though, is what Tom's saying, right?
Yeah, but
First
not.
part, it's a
but not produced.
Yeah, not produced. Yeah,
okay,
like
okay.
it's
Yeah,
and
it's
if it is, it's really locked up. Like you can't.
So these guys are doing the same thing again, like Star Wars did. We're going to start on 4. Instead of we're going to start on 2. We have the other stories. We'll see, but 2's got the most interesting and coolest information probably in it. So we're going to lead with our best material, and if people love that and it takes off, which apparently it did. Time to start making some more.
Do you know anything about the first one? Like, was Karnak in the first story or anything?
I don't.
I kind of took a little look ahead on it, and Karnak is not in it. Okay. However, Jane Doe is in it. Yeah, or at least who we find out Jane Doe is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the reason that I didn't really want to dive deep into the other parts of it is because I don't want it to dilute my mind of like the work that we're doing with this one.
Go. Yeah. Right.
Like I want to find these discoveries like on, because oftentimes, especially with these newer musicals, and again, this is to people who like to do this, especially actors, and I'm always like, you can go look at a version and study it. But at the end of the day, what you really should be doing is looking at the material and pulling out from yourself how you're going to do.
Yeah, make it your
version.
own.
Right.
Make it your own. Exactly.
Yep.
Don't copy necessarily how you're going to do it.
Sometimes those like deep dives into like the what happened before, it kind of does pull any vision you want to kind of create out. Even if you don't try to, it just kind of.
You're saying especially with the newer musicals,
yeah, because they do like, especially with something like this, where it has so many open-ended questions to it, and it's like I would rather us.
Which makes sense because it would be harder to pull that off your own when it's a classic. Because people are going to go see The Music Man and they're going to be like, "Hey, that's not how Harold Hill's supposed to be."
Right.
It's like don't play it like that.
So we already know the people that are in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Rick,
Oh yeah.
Who else is in it?
So Cameron Gerardo
Okay.
is in there. Kristen Osinski.
Okay.
And we have Matt Walls.
Was Kristen Be More Chill?
No,
that's Jacob.
No.
Yeah. Kristen Osinski. Did you go see Escape to Margaritaville when Oregon did it?
No.
Okay.
We did the quick walk around through it though. So
She wasn't Rocky with us.
Yeah. She that was
Okay.
Kristen's first show with us, but just most recently did Natasha Pierre in The Great Comet.
Okay.
So Matt Walls, who's new to us, fantastic. We have Sky Rodriguez.
I like the new to us people though. You gotta love having new people showing up all the time.
Sky Rodriguez plays a character named Noel, who has this amazing. It's like the second, or technically the second number, but like a second or third like musical. The second character to tell their story, basically, and it's wild like cabaret style kind of moment, and Sky does an incredible the intensity.
He's
of
an
this
amazing
song.
performer.
Nice.
They're like to the point where I'm like watching it like 100 times, and I'm like every single time I'm still like, oh my god, this is so like. But they're all like that. Kira Mater, who was in Be More Chill, was in Little Shop. This is Kira with us. This is Kira's like first like lead role in that. And then Ella Colbreth, who is yes, okay,
Ella.
Ella's oh my gosh,
It's like that's what I know. I know Ella.
Ella
All right.
Ella's fantastic.
She's doing my costume.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't surprise me either.
Helping with like wigs and makeup.
Yeah, yeah,
and
she's big in the wigs too. Yep.
costumes. And Ella's vocal performance in
Great.
her
Nice.
song is, I mean, like I was blown away.
Good.
And then I mean, Rick is the amazing Karnak. That is a role.
So Rick's the only bad one on the whole in the whole.
Wow.
You know.
We'll ignore him.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, what was the point that you said I have to? Because you said you listened to some of the music. You knew some of the story or something.
Well, I mean, I'd seen the YouTube video, and I knew I wasn't going to be part of the choir. I'm a little too old for that role, but Karnak definitely I wanted to do. There's no singing involved with Karnak. There's no dancing involved with Karnak. So I'm a little let down, no singing, but it's a voice role, and I've always wanted to get into voiceover acting.
Nice.
And
that's why I wanted him talking more. Listen to that.
Yeah. But it's a voice character role.
But there's not a certain point where you were watching, you went, "Oh, I have to do that."
I think it was after the first Karnak speech.
Oh, really? Right away.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this.
Is this your Karnak voice?
No.
Good. Don't blow it. Don't blow it. I want to hear.
We can't even hear
I mean, if he wants to give it.
I'm gonna say I try to use a little bit of I don't know if you're familiar with the Haunted Mansion.
Oh yeah,
Disney World.
Oh yes, of course.
New or old? Or yes?
It's the same dude.
It's the same dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
They never changed it.
I would say it's kind of like Ghost Host mixed with Wizard. You know,
From the Oz? Oh no, not
just,
that wizard.
More like Dumbledore.
The one of Waverly.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, gotcha. That sort of thing.
Actually, I do want to tell the story about your audition. It was fantastic. So because it's a non-singing role, like anyone who auditioned for Karnak, we said you can sing, because in our version, Karnak is going to join in at the last number vocally. But I was like, you know, and I'm not going to say no one can, but it's not required. It's more just to read a monologue. And Rick comes in and auditions and begins speaking, and within like the first sentence, I like just dropped everything, and I like in a happy way, like because I realized what it was, and it was the
spiel, the ride
Haunted
spiel,
Mansion,
Haunted Mansion.
the ride spiel, and
like the entire first 5 minutes.
it was, and I was like, that was perfect. That was like a really good, like not traditional thing you would ever take to an audition any other time, because the director normally, if you did that at an audition for any other role, would probably be like, are you for real right now, like a ride host thing? But it was like, I was like, that was so smart for that character.
What else are you supposed to do? Right,
It is a ride.
right yeah.
It's
That's
a ride.
the whole point.
It's a ride, and it's kind of what I felt embodied Karnak.
There you go.
And even like not to give like any direct things you say away, but like the opening speech that Karnak says, it does have that vibe of like, as you enter the theater and take your seats, this is the ride you're about to go on. Here are the rules. Like kind of, it is kind of like very parallel to that. So
You may not all exit. That kind of thing. You may not all exit out of here.
Are you speaking as people are entering the theater? Or
It's like
no.
Okay.
once they sit.
It's a thought. It's a thought.
Once they sit,
Make them all stand outside.
Yeah.
And then open the doors. Okay, sit down. You can start the ride.
Yeah.
Well,
James is right there.
I asked
Okay,
James.
that's out.
I asked James about this. I asked him. I said, "Am I going to have to be sitting in my box before everybody comes in?
Right. It's
how's
kinda
that
like
going to look
cats.
as I get in there? You know?
Yeah, it's like cats. So when everybody goes at intermission, and what's that? The main cat, the big cat in Cats the Musical, has to sit there on stage the whole time. That's what you got to do, man. Get
Yeah,
in the
I'm-
box and be.
Get in the box.
we're gonna hopefully do some really cool lighting trickery for that. And then another cool element of the show is the band. The band is very much part of the show in the sense that like they don't one person has a bit, but like they're never meant to be hidden.
Gotcha.
They're meant to be like visible from the audience the whole time. And in fact, the whole experience,
They don't sit in a pit. They're part of the show. Yeah.
the whole experience, like the set, our set design, like my co-director Rory McClin, who's done a lot of stuff with us, really did an awesome job designing the set in this way that it's the whole thing will be immersive. So like as soon as you walk into the underground at the Collingwood, it's going to be like you're in this abandoned warehouse where carnival equipment went to die.
Nice.
Basically. So
Nice. The whole experience then, right when they walk in the
Why
front
I'm
door.
still plugged in, I have no idea.
yeah. And then especially if you're so we have like two seating tiers. There's preferred seating for $20, and then there's general admission for $15. And basically we're like telling everyone like if you are someone who likes to go to see a show and you don't want any part of the show,
The
you just
show
wanna
on you?
watch get general admission. If you
Gotcha.
don't mind being a part of it in
This
some
is
way,
you again. This
He
is
had the
another
same
Evil
story
Dead.
in Evil Dead. He did.
Yeah.
We could have just taken that from the last one.
Yeah.
And plugged into this one.
nothing like that's gonna get splashed onto people. But
Yeah, you didn't call it Splash Zone last time. You called it something.
Splatter Zone.
Splatter
Yeah.
Zone. Yeah.
But then like with this show, like there's moments where like the cast will be so close to you, like
Uncomfortably close, maybe
kinda.
for some, right?
Yeah. So that's why we're like, if you have, I'm telling the cast, like, tell your friends and family, if you have people or like anyone listening, like,
I love that.
If you have people that, if you're not one of those people that like to have that done, or just if you get your preferred seating, get there early enough to get in the second row. Because if you're in the front row, you will definitely be like touched by someone.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I went to Cutting Edge's Chicago, and the ladies were like right there.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I saw
right
that
there.
too. Yeah,
I was like, holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah, it was.
It was great, but at the same time, I was also kind of a little uncomfortable. Like, oh, they're like 6 inches from my face here.
Oh yeah.
It was really cool.
And then this show has like a really like our good friend Megan Ahern, who does yeah. So
Mrs. Ahern.
Yes. Is our projection and videographer designer, because
Nice.
this show requires a lot of video projections to help enhance the story.
Gotcha.
And especially a very key moment towards the end where
That you will not ruin on the podcast. right?
absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. A very key moment later in the. I would say because like
Do you need another drink? Take the drink. I
I was
made you a
like-
drink, man. Go ahead and drink it.
not the. I won't say
Let
the
Rick do some talking. Jeez.
second half.
Glug glug. Oh, that's
But
better.
yeah. There's like a very. The projections enhance the story. It's a tech. Everyone's like, oh, that's a tech heavy show.
Very
I'm like,
tech heavy.
It can be really tech heavy. I think it's just you got to be smart about how you use it in your space.
Yeah. Cool, man. Main stage, right in Collingwood.
Nope.
No, underground.
Oh, it's in the underground. You did say that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cooler. To me, that's cooler. I like the underground stuff more.
It's about 10 degrees cooler. But
For sure. Oh my gosh, especially right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Get tickets where?
Tickets are we on the stage. We use that now. I was like, we've used so many tickets. I'm like, which one are we using now? On the stage, but it's on Stone Productions page, and then it's
Facebook page, right?
Facebook page, and then the Collingwood Art Center has it on theirs too. And the links, you just click right on it. We're putting all these. I just released yours, the Meet the
I
Cast.
saw that.
And if any of the Meet the Cast posts,
What you released your what? What did you say?
like we do like the photo and it says Meet the Cast. And
oh,
like a
the
little-
bio.
Yeah.
And okay, thank you.
But all of those will have the link, and you can click on it, and it takes you right to it.
Oh, nice.
Dates?
When is it?
So yeah, that's a good point. So it is. We're doing 2 weekends. 26th to the 27th of July is the first one. It's Friday, Saturday, and then August 3rd and 4th, a Saturday, Sunday. Just in the event that we sold out and have to add a show.
All right.
Gotcha.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on.
Ride the
Yeah.
Cyclone.
Thanks for having
Ride
us.
the Cyclone, Stone Productions
With
with Rick.
With Rick.
the amazing Karnak.
Karnak.
Oh,
Amazing
yeah,
car.
yeah. With the
Jane
amazing
Doe.
Karnak. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.